Good morning everyone. In this video, we are going to cover the current affairs. For mobile optimized ebooks, please install GKToday Academy app. For regular updates, please join our Telegram channel. The link is given in the description box. Now, let's start. India has announced $500 million assistance to which country for its largest civilian infrastructure project. So this country is Maldives. Capital of Maldives is Malé. Now, recently, this country was also in news as it became the member of Commonwealth and it became the 54th member of Commonwealth. Maldives was also in news because of Operation Sanjeevani. It was also in news as India and Maldives decided to cooperate for the development of ecotourism zones in Addu Atoll. Apart from that, recently it became the 22nd member of IORA. What is IORA? It is Indian Ocean Rim Association. The headquarters of IORA is in Mauritius. Recently, Mauritius was in news as it declared environmental emergency because of the oil spill by a Japanese bulker. Which state is the host of annual International Film Festival of India? So, it is Goa. Recently, it was in news as Chief Minister of Goa confirmed that the film festival will be organized as per the schedule and it will be organized in November. Now Goa was also in news as recently Goa signed first of its kind tripartite MOU, that means Memorandum of Understanding with GIZ India and with Siemens to provide German vocational training in ITIs. Goa was also in news as recently few products from Goa got GI tag. What is GI? It is geographical indication. Now answer in comment box recently which products from Goa got GI tag. Which smartphone maker is set to distribute over 2500 smartphones to Indian children to promote online education? So it is an initiative of Xiaomi. It is a Chinese smartphone company and it is going to distribute these smartphones through its Indian arm MI India. And for this purpose, it has collaborated with a non-profit Indian organization and the name of this organization is Teach for India. So, to promote this online education, this initiative was announced. Now recently, MHRD announced Pragyata guidelines for digital education. MHRD is Ministry of Human Resource Development and recently it was renamed as MOE, that is Ministry of Education. Sumner Redstone, who passed away recently, is associated with which field? So he was associated to business and he was American business person. His autobiography was A Passion to Win and he passed away recently. Apart from him, few other personalities passed away. Recently, former Indian cricketer Chetan Chauhan passed away. In addition to him, recently Robert Trump passed away. He is the brother of current US president. In addition to him, recently filmmaker Nishikant Kamath passed away and Indian classical vocalist Pandit Jasraj also passed away. What is the name of platform launched by the Prime Minister as a part of taxation reform? So the name of the platform is Transparent Taxation, Honoring the Honest. Now there are three main features of this initiative. First is faceless assessment, second is faceless appeal, and third component is taxpayers charter. Now if we talk about taxation, recently BRICS head of tax authorities meeting held and this was chaired by Russia. Apart from that, recently the fourth meeting of BRICS anti-drug working group was also organized and it was chaired by Russia. Russia was in news because of its vaccine and recently Brazilian state Paraná signed a deal with Russia for this COVID-19 vaccine and the name of this vaccine is Sputnik V. Now recently WHO, that is World Health Organization, has put restrictions on this Russian COVID-19 vaccine and it has barred this vaccine from the list of 9 experimental vaccines by WHO. TESS is a satellite of which country's space organization? So it is a satellite of NASA. NASA is a space agency of USA. What is TESS? It is Transiting Exoplanet Survey Satellite. What is the meaning of exoplanet? It means a planet which is outside our solar system. The first such exoplanet was discovered in 1992. Now in this context, answer in comment box what is Goldilocks zone. Which country is set to be the official sponsor of Indian team for Tokyo Olympics? So it is going to be Inox Group. Now Tokyo is in Japan. Recently Japan was in news as UAE launched its Hope probe from Japan. It is a UAE mission on Mars. UAE was in news because of world's first graduate level artificial intelligence university, and it is Mohammed bin Zayed University of Artificial Intelligence. UAE is going to be the host of this year's IPL tournament. UAE was also in news because of its ties with Israel, and it is going to be the first Persian Gulf country to establish ties with Israel. Recently Israel was in news because of Operation Breathing Space. Which pharma company has launched country's cheapest version of Remdesivir as Ramdev? So it is Zydus Cadila, and it is a Gujarat based company. Recently Gujarat was in news as MOTA announced museums of tribal leaders. What is MOTA? It is Ministry of Tribal Affairs. The ministry announced 9 museums, and the largest museum is going to be in Gujarat in Rajpipla. Gujarat was also in news as India's first maritime museum is going to be in Gujarat. The state was also in news as recently it launched Mukhyamantri Kisan Sahay Yojana. As per the recent report, which Indian city has been ranked second cheapest city to rent in the world? So it is Delhi, and this is a report by Purely Diamonds. The largest city of Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh, is the cheapest city to rent in the world, and Delhi is on the second position. On the other hand, New York is the most expensive city in the world, and New York is followed by Los Angeles. So these two are in USA. This is in Vietnam. So this one is cheapest, this one is most expensive. Delhi is on second position in terms of cheapest city, and Delhi is followed by Chennai. An Ayurveda based biodegradable face mask named Pavitra Patti is developed by which organization? So it has been developed by DIAT, that is Defense Institute of Advanced Technology, and it is in Pune in Maharashtra. Recently it was in news, that means Pune was in news because India's first intercity electric bus service was started between Mumbai and Pune. Now DIAT, that is Defense Institute of Advanced Technology, is under MOD, that is Ministry of Defense. Recently Defense Minister launched Srijan portal. So this portal aims to promote the indigenization of defense items production. Now there is one more platform for promotion of indigenous products in defense, and it is IDEX. It stands for Innovations for Defense Excellence. Steel Ministry is to conduct a webinar fostering steel usage in housing and building construction and aviation sectors. So this event will be organized with which organization? So it is CII, that is Confederation of Indian Industry. Now it will be conducted with the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs along with Ministry of Civil Aviation. Now if we talk about steel sector, we have SAIL, that is Steel Authority of India Limited. Recently Soma Mondal was selected as the new chairperson of SAIL. Apart from that, recently SAIL was also in news because of its service scheme. Answer in comment box what is the objective of this service scheme of SAIL. Now in the context of steel sector, there is a scheme Purvodaya, and recently a term was in news related to steel sector, and it is guns, germs and steel crisis of India. So please read about it. PMRU, which was in news recently, is under which agency? So a new price monitoring and research unit has been set up in the state of Karnataka under NPPA, that is National Pharmaceutical Pricing Authority, and the main function of PMRU is to assist NPPA in monitoring the price of drugs as well as to ensure their availability. Now this NPPA is under Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers. Now please note that even though it is related to health sector, it is not under Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. So please note such exceptions. Now this NPPA implements DPCO. What is DPCO? It is Drug Price Control Order, and recently this was in news because of a new price monitoring and research unit in Karnataka. Recently, Karnataka was in news because of its new industrial policy. Apart from Karnataka, recently Gujarat also launched new industrial policy and Andhra Pradesh also launched its new industrial policy. What is the name of performance dashboard of Ministry of Tribal Affairs which was launched recently? So the name of this platform is Empowering Tribals Transforming India Dashboard, and it is an initiative of MOTA, that is Ministry of Tribal Affairs. Now recently it was in news because the dashboard was launched by Niti Aayog CEO Mr. Amitabh Kant. So what is the objective of this dashboard? This shows the real-time details of the various initiatives of Ministry of Tribal Affairs. Now recently this ministry was in news because of Swasthya Portal, and it is a first of its kind platform that aims to provide health and nutrition related information of the tribal population of our country. Present tribal minister is Mr. Arjun Munda, and recently he was in news because of AAI, that is Archery Association of India, as he got elected as the president of Archery Association of India. So the Swasthya Portal will show the information about the health status of tribal population. Now recently Prime Minister also launched one such initiative for entire India, and it is National Digital Health Mission. So it will provide the health ID cards to every Indian. Which actor has topped the Forbes list of top 10 highly paid male actors of the world? So it is topped by Dwayne Johnson or The Rock. And from Bollywood, Akshay Kumar is on 6th position in this list. So these were the most important questions of today's video. Now we are going to cover important news. Feel free to skip it at your own risk if you do not like the format. So first news is related to Saliva Direct. So recently US FDA approved this Saliva Direct test for COVID-19. So it is a test related to coronavirus. What is FDA? It is Food and Drug Administration. And this test has been developed by the researchers from the Yale School in association with National Basketball Association. Next is Full Spectrum India's Wars. So recently this book was in news, and it has been authored by ex-Air Vice Marshal Arjun Subramaniam. Next is One Sun, One World, One Grid. So recently this initiative was in news because of the Prime Minister's speech on Independence Day. So it is a transnational electricity grid which will supply the solar power across the world, and MNRE, that is Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, is going to play a key role in the implementation of this initiative. Next is Digital Apnaye. So to promote the digital banking, this campaign was launched by PNB. Next is DG of BSF, that is new Director General of BSF is Mr. Rakesh Asthana. BSF is Border Security Force and it is under Ministry of Home Affairs. Next is Spanish Grand Prix. So recently Lewis Hamilton won this Spanish Grand Prix. Next is Marmik. So it is a weekly magazine, and recently it was in news because it completed 60 years. And this magazine is related to Shiv Sena. It is a political party started by Bala Sahab Thackeray. Next is E-Pathshala. So AIFF, that is All India Football Federation, in association with Sports Authority of India, jointly launched this E-Pathshala initiative to promote the football. Next is SS Chahar panel. So recently this panel was in news because it has been constituted to investigate the circumstances that led to the crash at the Kozhikode airport recently. Next is Mukti Karwa. So it is an initiative or a campaign against child trafficking, and recently it was launched by the Kailash Satyarthi Foundation, and this was launched in Bihar. So this is a campaign against child trafficking. Next is Pier Bridge across river Izai. So it is in Manipur, and Indian Railways is constructing the world's tallest pier bridge across this river Izai in Manipur. Next is Yellow Chain. So it is an initiative of Nagaland government, and recently it was launched, and it is a centralized e-commerce platform. Next is Gwalior Chambal Expressway. So now it will be named after Atal Bihari Vajpayee. He was our former Prime Minister, so now it will be named as Sri Atal Bihari Vajpayee Chambal Expressway. Next is Innovation Challenge Fund. So recently this was launched by UK to support India in its fight against COVID-19 pandemic. Next is Kaushik Khona. So recently he was appointed as the new CEO of Go Air. So these were the most important questions and important news of today's video. Thank you, and that's all for the day.